I was then almost crying in the other room because I thought, who is this stranger somewhere in this country pouring goodness into my child? And he's listening, because as a parent, you don't always. And I just literally was like, I would take a bullet for Janice.
Every single time you're working just as hard of it as everybody, but you're always behind them. I absolutely despise reading. If it's a paragraph that I'm reading, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Now I look at a paragraph and I'm like, okay, I'll just go read it.
The growth has been exponential. It was so hard and we felt so lost, and then we found it, and it just changed everything. The pre-K teacher was the first one who pulled us aside and said, I think Jack might have dyslexia. And I was pretty defensive. Ori's 4, and she said, no, I can't tell you how hard this kid works. We'll do the same lessons over and over, and a lot of the letters are backwards. And I was like, Ori's 4. And then we were really paying attention, and we're like, okay, this is probably a problem. And then it still took, I don't even know, probably 2 years to get the diagnosis, because you have to call and fight for it. And then the school won't do anything without the diagnosis, but doesn't necessarily help you get the diagnosis. You have to go through your insurance. It was just, this process is not about me, but it's taught me a lot about myself, in the sense that as a high school English teacher, it was quadruply humbling and sort of appalling to me that I didn't know what to do. He's the youngest of 3. So it was the first sort of time we'd ever had to navigate that type of system. And it was so humbling because it's so hard.
It felt just every single time you're working just as hard of it as everybody, but you're always behind them. And it made me really mad.
So I ordered a book offline. Jack and I went through it every day. It was 30 minutes. I made stacks of flashcards. He would cry. I would sometimes cry. There was a lot of fighting, but it was painful. And it was hard on our relationship too, because I felt like I was dragging him, and he was trying but sad. I called a friend who was a reading specialist in a different district and took her curriculum and photocopied every single page. And we went through, I was trying so hard, and it wasn't really working. So as a teacher, I was angry that we don't do more. And also then really humbled, because there's not super easy solutions. There's a school you can skip. We talked about pulling him from school, but the school's an hour drive. Is it that drastic? Surely there's a way he can still get his elementary school experience, and also that place was so expensive. And I know it's so scary and hard to have your kids struggle and not know how to help them, so to be able to help them, this program will help them. And it's hard as a parent. We don't have all the tools. So to bring in another adult that's going to be a cheerleader and a mentor and a taskmaster, they'll pull them through, you know what I mean? Janice is not messing around, but to be able to undo some of that from yourself, to maintain your own kind of stability and ability to support your kid, that's also a blessing to you and your relationship. But I would just say, try it as soon as possible. Get in now. Don't wait. I wish at pre-K, when she had said that, or a kindergarten, that I had known about Great Leaps, and I could have avoided multiple summers of tears and X charts every day. Just do it again so we can get another X. Just all the things that were so hard. And I would have just gone straight there, because the growth happened. I just felt like it was the minute we started Great Leaps, it was oh, this is what we've been waiting for. So I would say, don't wait, begin now. Only good things will come of it. Only good things.
In the beginning of Great Leaps, I cried a lot after sections, and I couldn't get stuff, so I'd get mad at myself and all the stuff. I finally got to a point where Janice got me to just let my mistakes go and learn from them. And now I just when I make a mistake, I work on it and I can roll through it, and it's not my own self holding me back.
There was a time where he had cried in a session, with her, and she had been kind, and I was in the other room, I could hear. And then the next day, we get him logged in. And then she said, now, Jack, before we start, I want to talk about the crying. And I was in the other room, and I just remember totally pausing and listening, because I thought, oh, how's this gonna go? And she said, first of all, there's nothing wrong with crying. Crying is great. Have you ever, she's so great. Have you ever tried to hold in a burp? That hurts, right? You just got to let it out. And she's like, so crying is great. But she's like, but crying about a mistake, we're not going to, mistakes are part of learning. You should be celebrating. Like, and I was then almost crying in the other room because I thought, who is this stranger somewhere in this country pouring goodness into my child? Like, and he's listening, because as a parent, you don't always, and I just literally was like, I would take a bullet for Janice. I like, can I send her like how do I thank her for giving my son his confidence back and his light and his like, all of it. I just was like felled in the kitchen, listening to Janice. So yeah, we love her so much. She's been so good for Jack. And I really felt like that moment was a turning point where she was like, mistakes are part of it. Like this is how you get better, or whatever. And then he finally was like, oh, okay, yeah, and things got better after that.
Like at one point I'm crying, and then 2 weeks later, like 3 weeks later, I'm going and going and going, and I'm not crying. I accept the mistakes and just trying to get better from them. When I did Great Leaps, I always kept like a chart in my mind of like, okay, I've got this many 2 leaps. So like in one day I've got like 2 leaps, and then I count like in my mind, and like then this like one day I got 3 leaps I was like super excited because I never thought I would get 3 leaps in one day. And then like, yeah, I was just like super excited for the rest of the day, like super happy.
He like told our whole family and the older brothers, and we're like, 3 leaps at once, but it was like, it was such a big feeling,
I used to like just read like straight like picture books and be like, oh, like these short books. But now I have like a ton of books, and I'm reading mostly graphic novels right now because in my mind it's like I need to still work on it, but graphic novels just look easier, but I'm actually getting in the same amount and like the same words, and I'm getting all this stuff in, and slowly I'm gonna grow and then get to the like longer like chapter books and stuff.
Mm-hmm. It was just so subtle, but all of a sudden like I'd be texting and he'd be looking over my shoulder and it's fast, right? And then all of a sudden he'd be like, wait, and clearly reading my text, which I was like, or we'd be watching a movie and there'd be a line that's in another language and the quick, and the thing down below, and he would laugh, like clearly Jack had read, but that's fast. And his fluency was always what was so difficult. But I think, or he'd be reading signs out, like all of a sudden you know what I mean? The last like year or two, where I was like, I didn't even know that part wasn't happening until it did. And then I was like, oh, hey, yeah, read all the things. Like all of this is accessible to you now. There's nothing that you're like, so it was just those tiny things. And then in class, like he's been getting support at school also. Again, we've worked with our school and they've done all their things best to help, but it is hard because like even with an IEP, you have to get the hours and it's groups of kids at the same time. It's never like a one-on-one individual time. And so he's been doing that and the school's been working really hard. But I attribute, so I'm just like, Great Leaps has saved us. I've tried to tell every parent. He tested for an IEP like a year or two ago, and right now it's coming up this fall, but they kind of think based on his like reading scores and how much it's jumped that he's going to test out. Like he's kind of caught, like closed the gap in the last year, and he'd still have a 504 and have accommodations for dyslexia, but like the growth has been exponential. Yeah. And then his confidence of like, I want to go into honors. Like I love, and he's good at story. He loves to talk about them. He's learned how to use tools to help him, but he also feels confident approaching texts, Tell him remember we talked about last night. I was like, what do you think the biggest thing that Great Leaps has taught you?
That just like push. At some point you're going to get it, but like you always have to work at it, and you can never stop working at it, because as soon as you stop working at it, you'll just not get it, and you'll not be able to get it.
He actually said last night, perseverance. I think, and I was like, he's like, I think the thing Great Leaps has taught me the most is perseverance. You just have to if you keep working at something long enough, you'll get it. And I just thought, I mean, that's like a crazy life skill that a lot of people don't figure out. You know what I mean? That's about so much more than reading. And here I'm like, you're 11, but I teach kids who already know how to read, and I didn't know how to break it down, and I didn't know how to bring him along. And that was such a helpless feeling, but I do know good teaching. And so I listen, I look at like the intentionality, the returning again and again, the improvement in the confidence, the improvement in fluency. I mean, like the little steps, and then, oh, it's a leap. Like all of it is such good teaching. Like, and it's in short bursts. So he doesn't burn out. He's not like, I mean, the other programs where I was like flip cards and he'd be like laying down, like, can we have a break? You know, but it's just enough time that you get kids at like their best, and you utilize every second. There's like 10 seconds of like chat, boom, they're working. You know what I mean? Like it's such good teaching. And I just listen and kind of marvel. And Jan, oh, let's go back to this part. Like her choices of like what they follow up on and stuff. Like I kind of just like marvel at it. Like, whoa, you guys are good.
And also one thing that's great about it is like in a lot of other things, they don't set goals for you. And like Great Leaps, you can get like a goal every like 2 weeks or even sooner. And like that's one of the things that always like pushes me on, because I'm a person who like if I can do it, I can get there. And I always set like a mind goal, like, okay, come on, and get as far as possible. And it's like I have like this like system in my head that like sets like
knowing what you're working towards every time. And I just think about like the dilution. Again, a 1 hour session, Great Leaps is not diluted at all. Like you're getting all the intentionality with none of the wasted time. And so I think you're getting an hour's worth of tutoring, to be honest, but you're just getting all of it in 15 minutes that matters the most, you know? And so I just think like time is valuable, and kids' attention spans are short, and also they want to go play, and they should get to, if reading is hard, they still get to do all the other kid stuff. So like it allows both. I was afraid of two things. One, that at some point Jack would adopt this belief system of being bad at school, or bad, like school is not for me type of thing, an identity that I never wanted him to have. And two, or that he would say, I hate reading, which I would imagine I understand, because I think when something's really hard and frustrating and doesn't come easily, it's an easy thing to say. And I feel like because of Great Leaps also,
before when I we didn't start Great Leaps, I absolutely despised reading.
Yeah.
Like every single, like if it's a paragraph that I'm reading, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, now I like look at a paragraph and I'm like, okay, like I'll just go read it. And now I read it. And before it was just like,
I mean, he'll raise his hand in class. The teacher was like, he offers to read out loud. And I'll be like, you sure, Jack? And he's like, yes, like, thank you, Great Leaps. He doesn't hate reading. He feels good and empowered at school. He knows when something's hard, he just has to keep working at it. And some things are going to come easier than others. But all these like life lessons, like the identity part still stayed solid. And I just worry that like hours and hours dragging a kid through something that's difficult can make them resent it. Whereas I feel like your tiny bits of it, there wasn't resentment. There was like empowerment and ownership, and then pride, because there was enough success. So it was like this magical solution to still navigating something difficult.
One thing that I really liked is I like Janice, somebody in her family, I can't really remember, had dyslexia, and she would like tell me like, you just have to work at it. And like she like said that like he worked at it a lot, and now he came to do this, and like he can do this now, like you can do that too. And like the fact that like somebody else who can share their story is teaching me.
Someone in Janice's family had this. Oh, okay. So she used it as an example of how successful. Got it.
And that like she's like teaching me and like telling me like, oh, don't worry, like you have to get through this part. Like this is like where you have to grind and like stuff like that. It really helps me, because I know like somebody is like knows this person who's helping me and help them probably a little bit, and that like they got through it.
Yeah. I was like, if you were going to talk to someone who's about to start Great Leaps, but like a bunch of years earlier, like where you used to be, what advice would you give, or what would you say to them?
If you're beating yourself up for doing something, because this is like really what I did at the start, like beat yourself up for not getting it right. That's the only thing holding you back. Like if you're beating yourself up for this one word that you miss, it's the only thing. As soon as I got past like saw, would, and like could, and like those types of words, I just like kind of rolled through a little bit, because I told myself I couldn't do it. And at one point I got one of them. And then as soon as I got that one, all of the other ones started clicking. And it was like, yeah, and you just need to keep going, keep going, keep going. I'm very close. But like just being like that close, it's giving me so much more confidence,
Mm.
like so much more like, okay, I'm this close. If I keep going, I keep going, and I keep going, I'm done with this. And like Janice has told me, like you should probably sound out the rest of the words if we haven't taught them to you. You can probably just like sound them out or like read them by yourself.
What were some of the words you were doing? I was listening the other day and thought,
Oh,
whoa, this program goes far. Yeah.
I've learned a ton of words from Great Leaps. Like I learned how to read them, but I also learned what they meant and like
Mhm.
all this stuff, like fruition.
Yeah. That's what it was.
There you go.
Fruition. We were driving and he was like, and because that was Janice's example, like fruit, like a fruit tree gets fruit. And that is the fruition. I was like, Chris and I were like slow head turn. Like, yeah, that is what fruition. Wow. I never even thought that that's why that word means that. Like, what? I will say when he finally finishes, I should just feel proud. And I think I will like sob because I'm so grateful to Great Leaps that to like, it's just been such a staple in our lives the last couple of years. And Janice's voice when and when I'm home in the summers, but like he's done it before school every day. Like it's just part of the routine. And it's again 15 minutes that he does before he goes to catch the bus. Like it's just been such a gift to be able to kind of plug in. And I know he'll be great when it goes away because you've gotten him there, but I just think like it's like when your kid like takes off the training wheels and then just goes, like stop, like, oh wow. Yeah, there's no way to thank or repay Great Leaps for it felt like it was so hard and we felt so lost and then we found it and it just changed everything.
Just keep going. It's like that's all like I kept doing, and now I'm getting to this spot, and like I can like read and like fluently and like all the stuff, and it's really amazing because I used to be like bumbled up and like only like think about reading myself and like because I was just so ashamed of it, and then now I'm like, yeah, I'll go read a book. Mom, why does your book say that? Like
He's reading
stuff
over
like
my
that.
shoulder. And it's been a weird blessing because I've also now he is much more willing to say to his friends, like, I have dyslexia. Like he's a much more, it's like owning part of that, like, and kind of saying, like, realizing like because he's had to work hard in this area, actually he's better in a lot of other areas because he works so hard and he's learned early that things don't come easily all the time. And that, and I feel like life wise, like he's better off in some ways because he's had to struggle. And we've talked a lot about that. Like he's very aware, like reading has been hard for me, but math might be hard for this person and this might be hard for this person. And that's okay. Like this is the thing that I'm going to struggle with, but that's fine. And it doesn't mean I'm not going to be successful. It just means it's more complicated for me to navigate. This is my thing. Everybody has their thing. So watching him get to that perspective has also been huge. Because I think for a long time it felt like a cross to bear and like why it's not fair. And now it's not. It's like, oh yeah, this is part of who I am. And it's taught me all these things. And I'm kind of lucky because it also means I'm great at puzzles and strong in this area or like I see the world a little bit different and I learn differently. And that's actually pretty cool. You're gonna be okay and it's gonna get better. And with this program, you will watch your kid blossom.